Alright guys, what's up? It's been a while since I've done a video. Just been extremely busy. This one I'm going to try to keep to the point. I'm already familiar with it. I've already been running in one of my guns. I've actually been putting it in a good amount of my customers' guns as well. This is the Gunmodify. Gunmodify steel CNC hop-up for the TM Hi-Capa / 1911. I've already reviewed the Glock 17. You guys can check that one, which was excellent. I really like it. I think it was more important on the Glock world versus the Hi-Capa. The Hi-Capa has already got so many options. So I'm just gonna go from pros to beginning, pros to con. Talk about. We're not gonna demonstrate it or anything. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff, this video is not for you. And too long, don't watch whatever TLDR. I like it, but it's not groundbreaking. If you already own a brass hop-up or your hop-up unit is working fine, I don't really recommend just buying it just to buy it. It's just run your hop-up into the ground. Alright, now I'm going to start. First of all, I know the first thing everyone wants to know, does the steel actually weigh more than brass? And it actually doesn't. The brass is the heaviest, Gunmodify coming out second, and then TM coming at third, and the fourth is going to be UAC. I bought the UAC hop-up unit. I'm not sure when I'm going to review this. I'm actually backlogged right now. I have the Gunmodify grips. There's so many things I've got to do, but I'm just trying to get something out. Alright, first we're going to show you guys brass hop-up. The only thing we have on here is the little O-ring, but you know, it's alright guys. Let's just weigh it. We have 30 grams. No screws, and then we have Gunmodify. I'll put the little ring on here. 29.5, so 0.5 difference, very little, and then we have the TM with SO ring as well, no screws, and then we have 24.4, so 30, 29, 24. You guys see the difference. You should already notice that this breaks off differently than the traditional styles. I would say this is the first hop-up unit to do it, but is it anything special? Yes and no. My biggest things I really like about it is the fact that, one, we finally have dipping screws, because I can't tell you how many times I've had to work on people's hop-up units, and these traditional screws, the screwdrivers, screws are just, they're already stripped. It's just, I've lost track of how many people have, stripped those screws, whereas this one is going to be a lot tougher to strip, and you somewhat need the right tool, whereas this one you can have a half-ass tool and still open it. This one you're going to need the right tool. It comes in this bag. It's blurry. It comes in, the screws come in here. I'm going to show you something about the screw. Okay, let me focus it. You guys can read that. They're just telling you to Loctite. It doesn't come with Loctite, but just use 242, the blue one, guys. Alright. And then you got the two screws. Where's the O-ring? The O-ring. Wait, did it come with the O-ring? I actually can't remember, guys. I'm not going to put that in there. I'm going to assume it didn't come with the O-ring. I forgot. And then this little rod right here is probably the coolest thing it can do. It's not the first company to do it. It's already been done by, I want to say AIP or AKA did it first with their copper one. But you can switch it from, 1911 style to Hi-Capa style, which is excellent. I think that should have been done in the brass series a long time ago. But they haven't done it, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. So those are the two biggest things I like. The fact that you can switch it over to 1911, and the screws are, they're less susceptible to, stripping. You need the right tool. What I don't like is, once again, like the Glock one, you do have to buy. That's if you don't want to upgrade. If you want to upgrade. Otherwise, it will work with the stock TM. It does actually, if anything, it works better with the stock TM arm and wheel. They drop in easier. Whenever I've been buying, actually every customer I bought we've upgraded to the Gunmodify steel one. I've had to sand this wheel. I don't know if it's gonna be the same for everyone, but I had to sand this area, and then the hole is too small, so I had to just make it a little bit bigger. My advice to you guys, if you plan on buying these two, be prepared to work on the wheel and don't overdo it. You want this to be tight. It may be a pain to turn it. It might be tough to turn it, but you want it tight. The moment you guys make it loose, it's just your arm's going to be able to move pretty easily with recoil and that kind of stuff. So always try to keep this tight as possible, to the point where it's going to stay in position. You want it to stay fixed. And another thing, guys, you're going to notice there's a long screw and a short screw. Long screw goes in the back, short screw goes in the front. If you put them in the wrong position, the screw will be sticking out and it will cause issues. Your hop-up unit will not sit flush in the outer rail. If you have a metal one, you should notice it. What happens, you're going to notice it right off the bat, is when you put it into your slide, usually it's easy, right? You're going to notice it's easy. If you don't have it in right, it's going to be really tough to put it into your slide, and you're going to damage your slide. So be careful, make sure you got everything done correct. And I'm trying to think what else I can talk about. It's just, I've already been playing around with it. It's been doing wonderful. The people I upgraded, guys, we were going from stock TM to, we had the choice of brass or steel, and I think most of us went with steel because it's, it is stronger. And the price difference is very little. It's not that much of a gap. It is a little more because we did end up buying the steel arm and the brass wheel, and I do have to take some time to fit it. But if you can fit it yourself, it's not a big deal. And it takes like maybe no more than 30 minutes if you're really trying to be nitpicky and trying to get the perfect fit. All right, but the fact is, most of us went with this because of the screws and the fact that we can switch it to 1911 anytime we want to, whereas the brass hop-up, you can't do that. You're either going to buy the 1911 version or you're going to get the Hi-Capa version, and you're stuck with that. If you buy the 1911 version, you end up hating it. You can cut it down, not a big deal, but once again, it doesn't have the versatility that this does. And most of my customers, we have 1911s and Hi-Capas, and if we ever want to switch, we can just, it's easy for us to switch now. And like I said, they aren't the first, but in terms of fitment, guys, very different. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't measure. That was my fault. I should have done it. But this is, I feel like there's a lot of work. I should have. I probably installed at least about 7 to 8, I think. And some were really tight and some weren't. But then you'd have to figure out if the frames were loose, if the frames where it connects is loose. Okay. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. You guys can shim it, so that's nothing to be, worried about. Okay. On this one, it's a little loose. I don't know if you guys can see that. So this Gunmodify, I have this on a standard frame. The last 3 was, I think it was advanced, standard, advanced. The first 2 were really tight. The standard and advanced were tight, and I told the guys, I don't want to sand anything. It's going to be tight, so just sort of nudge it in there. You smack the front of it, and it gets there nice and tight. That's what you want. And if you have a loose one, just shim it. Okay, you guys can shim the hub-up unit or the frame. I don't think I think it's personal preference. And some other companies, they would give you a little metal shim. Almost it's like this, but it's flat. You guys can put that in there. You guys can play around. There's a lot of ways you can do it. Check forums. That's not something I'm going to be covering, especially I'm short on time right now. Okay. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I really like it. I don't think it's a warranted upgrade if you already own an upgraded hop-up unit. If you're running the stock one and you just happen to break it, if you got a little more money to spare, I would say yeah, grab the Gunmodify one when this breaks, and grab these parts, but be prepared to fit it. But at least you'll have an option to go to 1911 if you ever want to, and the screws are just going to provide you a stronger chance of not stripping if you're going to use the right tools. Okay. Anything else? Can't really think of it. Bought it all from Alpha Airsoft. Shout out to Alpha Airsoft as usual. You guys know me, I buy from Outfitter, Soft Lot, and Boom Arms. Those are actually my two most stores that I love buying from. I do buy from a lot of other stores. Alright, I will see you guys around, and I'm going to try to get maybe 1 or 2 videos out before I leave. I don't know. We'll see. No promises. Alright, take it easy, guys.